We're going to begin our practice in a child's pose. So we're going to make our way onto our knees. And we're going to keep the knees together for a tight child's pose. So the heels will come to touch in the back. And we're just going to bring the hips so that we sit back on the heels of our feet. And we're just going to bend over the thighs and let the hands stretch out just as far as they can. And bring the forehead down to meet the earth as we begin our practice. And if you have a bolster here in the studio or a block, it might feel nice to just kind of push it underneath you, or the larger bolster too that's in front of you, that might feel nice for some added support. And we're gonna start by just seeing if we can just give in, surrender to the moment for a second. If this in any way doesn't feel good, you can widen the legs and take the knees wide on the mat and give yourself some space for the abdomen to have some room to also meet the ground. That might feel nice as well. The best thing about yoga is that there's so many variations. So do whatever feels good as we settle into our practice this evening. And just begin to come into the moment. Whew. I'm going to take a second. And this is a wonderful time to begin our breath practice, focusing in on our pranayama, our life force. So tuning into maybe a four count breath, taking an inhale for a count of 4 and matching that with an exhale count of 4. So just emptying everything out. And then breathing in with me for 1, 2, 3, 4, holding for a second, and then a gentle exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1, and then inhaling again for 1, 2, 3, 4, exhaling out for 3, 2, 1. And I won't continue counting, but the idea here is to just settle into the space, to the moment. Focusing on the breath takes the mind from any thoughts that may have accompanied you onto the mat, perhaps thoughts of traffic or being late. As we just drop everything and come here to join the body in the sign of surrender, all the way down on the ground. This is also an awesome moment to pick up a Satnam for the rest of our practice together. And a Satnam is an I am statement that's set right now in the present moment. And I am. Sometimes it's just I am. But sometimes it's perhaps I am happy, or I am strong. Something in the positive that will see you through the next, we're running late today, but the next 30 minutes when you're uncomfortable, as you may be right now, as your body is perhaps struggling to maintain this posture. Just searching your mind for something you can hold on to throughout the practice as we continue forward. And it might be as simple as, I am willing. And we'll begin some movement now with our breath. On the inhale, just begin to walk the hands back and come up onto all fours into a table position so that the hips are stacked over the knees and the hands are right underneath the hips in a starfish form, really using them to suction cup the mat, tucking the belly button into the spine, and then even pulling the pelvic floor up like a drawstring to meet the belly button. A nice neutral spine that's parallel to the earth. And really even tapping the tops of your feet to remind them that they're there and they can bear some of this weight as well. This is a very strengthening posture in yoga. So adjust as necessary. We're headed to bird dog, and the full version of bird dog is for the opposite hand or arm and the opposite leg to lift at the same time. But yogis, there are so many variations. So I want you to do what's comfortable for you and your body. You may choose to just lift the arm or to just lift the leg, or you may choose to do both. The goal is to keep the shoulders and the hips parallel to the earth and allow the strength to come from the core of your body. We're going to take an inhale breath to bring oxygen that's needed for this exercise to all the muscles. Inhale breath to prepare. And on your exhale breath, lift up the left hand and the opposite leg. But it doesn't really matter because we're going to do both. We're just lifting the opposite hand and leg. Or you may choose to lift just one or the other. And we're going to hold it here for a few breaths. A toe pointed down towards the ground, a gaze towards the ground, and a thumb up towards the sky is set to help balance. Tucking the belly button in is also very helpful. Breathing in and out. Lowering down whenever you're ready, yogis. Returning to that strong table and checking in with your I am statement. In and out breath. And then on your next incoming breath to prepare, on an exhale, lift up the other side. Breathing here, a toe that's flexed down towards the earth, and a thumb that maybe is pointed up to the sky is set to help with balance. Tucking your belly button into your spine. Mine, of course, never makes it there. I try, though. Holding for maybe one more full round of breath. Feeling the cold air in through the nose. And then lowering down whenever you're ready. We'll do two more, one on each side. So balancing out. And then on the in-breath, it's always to prepare. And then yogis, when you're ready, on an exhale breath, lift up on the opposite side. Checking your hips stay parallel, your shoulders stay parallel to the earth. Maybe even a slight smile on your face. Perhaps the toes turn towards the earth, the thumb towards the sky. Beautiful. Yogis, lowering down whenever your body says, this feels like I've had enough. Returning to neutral, check in with the body. Big, deep breath in and out. And then it's the in-breath that prepares the body. And the exhale to lift up into the stretch. Beautiful. You may find in the middle of the stretch, you would like to lower down one hand or perhaps the leg, focusing on just one area of the body. Send breath to that area. And then lowering down whenever you're ready. One last time. Check in. And then inhale breath to prepare. And then push everything out and up. Out and up. And don't forget to breathe, yogis. Excellent balance. Beautiful. One more round of breath. See if you can lift up maybe 1% higher. Just a little bit on the exhale breath. And then gently lowering back down. Recalibrating, centering the body. Checking in with that really strong table. And then inhale, gathering the oxygen, and then pushing everything out and up. Excellent. A toe pointed down to the earth and a thumb high to the sky. A dristi or a gaze down to the earth is helpful. Big breath here. Can feel a wobble in my left arm, so I know I'm doing something. One more big round of breath in and out. And then lowering back down whenever you're ready. Excellent. All right, yogis, we're going to tuck our toes and send our hips high for downward dog. Whatever your downward dog looks like is fine. This is my first one in a while. So my knees are really bent, and that's fine. My hips are going to be the highest point on my body, and my goal is to try to get my ears to come and meet my elbows. But sometimes that's not possible depending on the day. And you can walk your dog, just sort of move the heels back and forth. The goal is also to keep the spine nice and straight in this inversion. So good to reverse the blood flow like this. If at any point it's too much, just gently coming back down. When you're ready, we're going to take a look up at the hands and then gently walk the feet forward. And we're going to meet in a forward fold. However you get there is irrelevant. Just a beautiful forward fold so we can get over ourselves for a second. Even a wide-legged stance, a bend at the knee. But then, yogis, once you're there, the block also is helpful too to bring the earth up to you a little bit. Let it all hang out here. Let the head go. Let the hair go. Just dump everything out. Let it fall out the shoulders, the eyebrows. Maybe even sway a little bit back and forth. And then when you're ready, if you're using a block, set it aside. We're gently going to come to a halfway lift, which is a neutral spine that's parallel to the earth, to stabilize our blood flow so no one passes out. Exhale, we're gonna forward fold again, go all the way back down. And then on your next inhale, gently, one vertebra at a time, just rolling up. Beautiful. So the head is the last thing to arrive. Excellent. This is our mountain pose, Tadasana, grounding all four corners of our feet, really grounding down into the earth. The fingertips can send long. And on an inhale breath, we're going to go wide and high, all the way up to the sky. Our upward salute, Ardha Hastasana. If the palms can come to touch at the top, that's great. Big round of breath here, opening the heart space. And on the exhale breath, we're going to drop the right hand only, leaving the left hand up high. The right hand can fall to your side. And then leaning over to the left for a side body stretch, keeping the feet firmly planted. Big breath in and out. Inhale breath, bring the hands back to meet up at the top. And on an exhale breath, dropping the left hand and a nice side stretch on the other side. Beautiful. Inhale breath, bring the palms back to touch at the top. On an exhale breath, bringing the palms down to heart center. Checking in with that Satnam, your I am state. And inhale breath, we're going to take the arms wide and high for a beautiful swan dive all the way back down to the ground. Inhale, come to a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise all the way back up for your Ardha Hastasana, your upward salute. Palms come to touch at the top. We're going to drop the right hand down again. Over for that side body stretch. Inhale, breath will bring the palms back to neutral at the top. Exhale, breath, dropping the left hand side stretch on the other side. Beautiful. Inhale, back up at the top. Exhale to heart center. Inhale the arms up for a swan dive all the way back down to the ground, really warming up the body now. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise all the way back up to the top. Palms together. Exhale, dropping the right hand, side body stretch. Excellent. Inhale, palms together, back up at the top. Dropping the left hand, side body stretch there. Feels so good. Inhale the palms back together and neutral at the top. And down to heart center. Beautiful. We'll stay right here. We'll take the right foot and step it forward. And send the left foot back for a warrior two pose. The back foot should be parallel to the back of the mat. So it's at a 90-degree angle. The hips are parallel to the long edge of the mat. And the front toes are facing forward. There's a beautiful bend in the front knee. Just barely squeaking right at the front toe. And the arms are floating on clouds with the shoulders away from the ears. Strong warrior two. Beautiful. Holding here, tuck that belly button into your spine. Automatically straightens us up and sends the crown of the head high to the sky. And an inhale breath, we're going to flip the front palm forward. To reverse the warrior, sending the left hand back to the leg, reaching the right hand high to the sky, really using the core here to stabilize balance. Round a breath, a little hard to breathe, twist it up like this, so good for concentration. And on an exhale breath, returning to your warrior two, cartwheeling the hands all the way back down to the mat. And then stepping forward into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise and all the way up to the top. Palms together, dropping the right hand for that side stretch. Big side stretch. Inhale, palms together, back in neutral. Drop your left hand. Inhale, back together. Come to heart center. We're going to take the left leg back this time. For warrior two on the other side. Left leg sends back. It's parallel to the back of the mat. The hips are parallel to the long edge of the mat. And the toes are facing forward. The knees bent just a little bit so it peeks over the toes. Arms are light and fluffy. The shoulders are away from the ears. There's maybe a smile even on your face. Maybe returning to that Sat Nam. Feeling the strength in this warrior two, Virabhadrasana two. In and out breath, here yogis. Reversing the front palm facing up to the sky. Reverse your warrior, slide the back hand down the leg. Taking the right, left hand up to the sky. Really using the strength in the core. This beautiful energy lock you can create in your own body. Holding for one round of breath and then returning to your warrior two. Cartwheeling the hands all the way down to the ground. Rotating the foot and then stepping forward for a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root those feet and rise. Ardha Hastasana, your upward salute, palms together at the top. We're going to drop the right hand. Beautiful half crescent stretch. Inhale, back to the top. Dropping the left hand. Beautiful. Inhale your arms back together at the top. And instead of coming to heart center, let's cactus on the exhale. Cactus the arms out, giving a big open heart space here. Keep your palms open wide, chin out, eyes up. Big breath here. In and out. Beautiful. Now swan dive all the way back down to the ground. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise. Palms together at the top. And now we're going to step the left leg back. Find your warrior two. Beautiful. Reverse your warrior. Oh, excellent. Returning to warrior two. Beautiful. Okay, we're headed to triangle. So we're going to straighten the front leg completely, which is going to shift the hips back. And then, oh, here's where your block is super helpful. So drop your pose and bring the block to the inside of your front foot. I like to keep mine on high. So I have it at its highest position. If you would like a little deeper stretch, you can keep it on low. Or if you want a really deep stretch, you can get rid of it altogether. So returning to your warrior two position. To go to triangle from here, we're going to straighten the front leg, which is going to kick the hips back. And then a beautiful reach forward with the shoulders. I'm going to just reach down for my block. I might not make it there, but I might, depending on my flexibility for the day. And then, depending on my balance for the day, I might try to look up at my left hand. The idea in a triangle pose is that I'm one straight line with a bunch of angles. Breathing here. Excellent. Now a slight bend in the front knee to return to your warrior two. Beautiful. And then we'll just cartwheel the hands back down to the ground. Stepping the foot forward. Now we're just going to step the left foot back. Rising up for warrior two on the other side. Excellent. Set it up. Take a minute. Probably not a whole minute. More like a couple seconds. And check the back foot. And then check the front. Check your hips. Make sure they're parallel to that long edge of your mat. And then yogi. Find your strength. Root yourself into the ground. Feel the strength in your legs. Even though your arms are on clouds, there's so much strength in them to hold them up like this. No weight is necessary. Flip your front palm. Reverse your warrior. Hold on to that core strength as you head in this backwards direction. So good for the mind to think this way. One round of breath here, yogis. And then returning to your warrior two position. Hopefully your block is still nearby. If you need to drop your asana to set your block up so that it's on the inside of your left foot, or whichever foot you're on, it doesn't ever matter in yoga because we do both sides. We're headed to triangle. From warrior two, we'll straighten the front leg, which will immediately send the hips back. And then I'm going to send the shoulders forward by reaching with my left hand. And then I'm just going to go as far down my leg as I can. I might reach the block. I can adjust. And then it's just holding on to that core strength. And holding on to the breath. Maybe a glance up at the hand that's reaching for the sky. If you're really feeling froggy, you might close off the eyes and see what happens. When you're ready, only when you're ready, a gentle bend in the knee, a glance down to the earth. Returning to warrior two. Just going to cartwheel the hands back down to the ground. Rotate the back foot. And come back into your forward fold. Wide-legged forward fold. So if you can, heel toe the feet out. As wide as you would like. So that your hands can get to the ground. Just give a beautiful deep bow, a beautiful forward fold. You can begin to circle the hips around. You might notice a little stretch in the legs there. If at any time we're headed back down to the ground right after this, so if this stretch might be better for you on the ground, please feel free. We're just going to walk over to the right leg with our hands. Really getting a strong hamstring stretch. And when you're ready, yogis, we're just going to walk over to the left. So take your time. Pausing wherever it feels nice. Bend the legs if that feels good. And then whenever you're ready, just making your way down to the earth onto a flat back. You can heel toe the feet back in. It doesn't have to look graceful or good. You just have to be careful not to hurt yourself doing it. So once you're on your bum, just gently rolling down onto your back. Go to your elbows. Maybe you hold onto your knees to get there. Maybe you even go from your side. And then you get to your back. We're going to have both of the soles of our feet planted on the ground with the knees bent. We're headed for bridge pose. If you have your block nearby, you can lift up the block, lift up your hips and place the block underneath your hips for supported bridge, or not necessary. That's just an option. So for bridge pose, we're gonna just lift the hips up one vertebra at a time, rolling ourselves up onto our shoulders. And yogi's choice to hold this or to continue through movement, lowering back down one vertebra at a time, and then rising up again onto the shoulders. Doing so with the breath. In yoga, movement happens on the exhale. Inhale breath is to prepare for movement. Movement takes place on the exhale. Send the right leg high to the sky. And then crossing the right leg over the left knee. So the right ankle's over the left knee. We're headed for a reverse pigeon, or some call it a figure 4 stretch. You create this beautiful hole right here in between, like a triangle. You can send your right hand through this hole and reach behind to interlace the fingertips behind the left knee. And then gently pulling the left leg towards the body. Gently. You can give some ankle rotations to the left foot. If that's distracting to the main stretch, then please stay still with the ankle. Breathe in. And on the exhale, see if you can deepen the stretch just a little. And now, yogi, unlace the fingers, bringing them to rest by the sides, but continue to cross the leg over so that you're in a full crisscross, and then gently allow the legs to float over to the left for a spinal twist. Allow gravity to just take over. See if the shoulders can stay planted onto the mat. Perhaps even lifting the head and taking a peek over to the right for a little deeper twist in the spine. You can take the arms out to a T or a cactus. Check in with your Satnam. Check in with how your body feels. When you're ready, bring the legs back up to center. Uncross the right leg, putting both soles of your feet on the ground, and then sending the left leg high to the sky. Bringing the left ankle to meet the right knee. Lift the right leg, creating that beautiful hole. You can send the left arm through so you can interlace your fingers behind the right knee. Interlace the fingers behind the right knee, and then pulling the leg forward. Some ankle rotations might feel nice. You go in one direction, make sure you go in the other. And then when you're ready, cross the leg, undo the fingertips, and then cross the leg fully over, and then gently allow the legs to fall completely to the right, allowing for a spinal twist on the opposite side. Cactusing out the arms or taking them to a T. Even taking a peek over the left shoulder. Excellent. Then yogis, when you're ready, just returning the legs to neutral. And then sending them long on the mat. Maybe a full body stretch might feel good here. And then a softening of the eyes. Returning your attention to your breath. And your Satnam, your I am statement. You showed up today. You showed up for yourself to practice being in the moment. Big deep breaths in. Generous exhales out. Shavasana. The part of a yoga practice where we absorb the movement of the body. The practice of the breath work. Bringing it all together. Follow your next incoming breath all the way down to your toes. Begin to wiggle them, reanimating the body. And your exhale, just emptying out anything that may be left that's just no longer serving you. Leaving it here on the mat. When you're ready, just rising up into a seated position. To an easy seat, as we say, Sukhasana. Spreading the fingertips wide, we'll just tickle the earth. We'll take one last breath together. We'll send the arms wide and high. Palms together at the top. Coming down into prayer position, tucking the thumbs into our heartbeat. Yogis, please know that the light bows and honors the light in you. Namaste. Thank you for practicing with me.
Thank you.